I think I love my partner more than my partner loves me. That is a phrase that I've heard, or I guess a sentence that I've heard a lot of different times from a lot of different people. And not even just in the context of having been cheated on. There it obviously comes up because there's a pretty specific thing that happened that makes you begin to wonder, wait, do they actually love me? But even in general, there can be this insecurity that there is some type of unequal dynamic, and it often makes people feel weak to be the one who loves more. And so I want to talk about that a little bit today. And specifically, I want to find some ways around it because I personally think that it's kind of a BS problem. It's not a real problem. It's actually a smokescreen for other problems within a relationship. So first off, I just want to have you think about the idea of loving someone else more than they love you. Think of it in terms of like points or percentages. Is it really possible to say, okay, I love my partner 8,024 love points, but they only love me with 7,500 love points? First of all, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's just play with it. If that did make sense to calculate it that way, do you really expect that at the end of the day, every single couple would end up at 8,024 love points and they would all be equal? No. I mean, if you want to be just really realistic with it, technically, it's probably true that in every relationship, one person might love the other person a little bit more. That's just going to be the case. So what's actually the problem with that? Well, like I said, I don't think it's a real problem, and you can't measure it that way. Love is something dynamic. It changes day by day. I think at the end of the day, especially with people who have been deeply hurt by their partner through something like them cheating on them, it comes down to just like 2 or 3 questions. First, do you actually still love them? I think people want to raise that question of, I don't know if they love me as much as I love them, because they're trying to hide the fact that they've been so hurt that they don't love their partner anymore. And so don't run from whatever it is that you're feeling or try to mislabel it as something else. And then second, another question is, does your partner actually love you? Like, that's what really matters. If you can believe in your heart that they still love you after what happened, then first question is, do they still love you? And second is, do you want to receive that love? Are you open to receiving that love? Because plenty of people, after they're being hurt that deeply, don't want to receive love from that person anymore, and that's fine. But again, that's different than the problem being, I love them more than they love me. That may be true, but that's not the real issue, because that's true for every couple, technically, probably. The real issue is, do you love them? Do you want to love them? Do they love you? Do you want them to love you? And do you want to receive that love? Those are the real questions worth figuring out. And this is just a general principle, especially when your emotions are chaotic, deal with better questions. If you're going to let your brain be running crazy all day, in pain, trying to figure out what's going on, what am I going to do next, at least do yourself the favor of asking yourself better questions. Because again, I think that where that question of, do they love me as much as I love them, is coming from, is from an insecure place. It's this feeling where I'll be safe in the relationship if I'm the one who loves less. And you can see how that just creates this spiral dynamic where, like, okay, I'll take back my love a little bit, and then you'll take back your love a little bit. And then it just ends up really, really cold. That's not a place that you want to go. And I think people turn to that after they've been cheated on because they think, okay, the problem was that I loved too much, that I was too vulnerable, I was too trusting. Therefore, I need to like guard my heart, and I'll guard my heart by being someone who loves less. But usually, once I've articulated that to people and helped them kind of uncover that themselves, they realize, oh, that is not a way to love, because the only place that gets you is completely alone eventually. Even if you're living next to someone, if that is the mindset you take, that you have to love less to protect yourself more, you're just going to end up alone, even if you're living with someone. So I hope you can put that out of your mind, that idea that you need to be the one who loves less, because that's silly. Like, is that what you want when someone says, I want to, I have this problem, I love my partner more than they love me? It's like, okay, just love them less then. If that's your problem, love them less and they'll love you more. Easy. I hope that just shows how absurd it is. and gets you kind of thinking in a new direction if this is something you've been struggling with.